What is this nonsense about £400,000 a week contract to Enzo Fernandez? Apparently, until recently, after Rosenier's conference apparently cleared it up, one-to-way Argentinian World Cup winner. I can't promise I'll be at Chelsea at the end of the season, he said, after that PSG misery. To compound all our fears and sadness, Graham Bailey, transfer journalist, has got an exclusive on Team Talk to suggest that we've offered him $400k a week. Press X for doubt. We're going to get into that, but I'll say it at the top of the freaking video, bro. If that's true, man, if that is true, then go back to Victor Osimhen, a striker, an amazing, elite mentality, quite senior striker now that wanted to play for Chelsea, that idolises Didier Drogba. Bring him to Chelsea, give him the money that he wants, if we are to even believe this story, man. So we're going to get into that a little bit, of course. Rosenior spoke to the media ahead of the game. The Everton game, he spoke very well. That's what he does. We know he might not be bringing home the W's on the pitch, but he does very well in the press conference room, which of course isn't enough. We'll speak about that and go through some of his quotes and preview the Everton game. A game that presents an opportunity to Chelsea that will either, show that these players have got something about them and they still can play football and want to play football for Chelsea, or the world will simply come crumbling down and we'll all feel not very good. I'll tell you that much. Excuse me, we've not played away in the hill dicky. So maybe it won't be the goodness and curse. Also, Mudryk posted a video of him training, which we could watch together. It's 2026. I never thought I'd be gassing myself for a return of Mykhailo Mudryk. But here we are. I've watched plenty of Garnacho, so there you go. In fact, let's start with this. So here's his Instagram. I haven't prepped to see how this is going to run here on me reacting on YouTube. But let's have a little look, shall we? See if this works. Oh, there it is. Look at the haircut, bro. Great finish. Great finish. Amazing finish. Great finish. Great finish. Funny he's putting all the good finishes in. Oof. Oof. Nice. Lovely. He's going for a new vibe. Just took out the haircut again. Can we... Okay, fine. Yeah, Mudryk posting stories of him training, getting people excited. It looks quite good. And of course, whenever you post a montage of you scoring goals, it looks good. Heck, even me, put me in a 4G pitch with a cameraman for a day. You get some good finishes out of me. And then me going, ooh, my hamstring's tight. Ooh, my back. Ooh, my calf. Oh, my foot hurts from the time I broke my metatarsal. Funnily enough, not playing football, walking up a curb. True story. Literally obliterated my metatarsal from stepping onto a curb a little bit too excited. I just spat on my screen. That's how much of a gangster I am, people. I hopped up a curb a little bit too enthusiastically and was on crutches for weeks. Oh, it's embarrassing. So I suppose we should get into this mental story. Okay, team talk. Record breaking. Firstly, press X for doubt. Chelsea drew up plans to obliterate wages record for top star as Real Madrid PSG dream fades. Exclusive! An exclusive from Graham Bailey. Who's told you this? It stanks of briefing. Let's see what he says. I'll give you my thoughts, and we can move forwards from there. And of course, look at what Rosenier's, because Rosenior spoke about Fernandez and all the stuff. So we'll pick the bones out of that if we can. Let's get into it then. So Chelsea are insistent or they have no intention of losing Enzo Fernandez and are preparing to fight off growing interest from Real Madrid, which is, by the way, the only team I think he might actually go to, Real Madrid, and other elite European clubs this summer. And Team Talk can exclusively reveal that a record-destroying new contract is in the works. I don't believe you. That's me speaking, of course. The Argentine midfielder who cost the Blues then a British record fee of £107 million. I thought it was 105, but whatever. When he arrived from Benfica, has been one of the club's standout performers. He's been good last 18 months, couple of years. We all agree, I think. And has formed a formidable partnership with Moises Caicedo at the heart. Has he got... I mean, they're both amazing players, but I don't know about the partnership between them. You know, it's not like... you know, Lampard, Drogba, or whatever. Do you know, in terms of partnerships, do you know what I mean? Or like Matic, Kante. I don't know. Internally, Fernandez is regarded as one of the club's most important long-term pillars, and Chelsea have moved quickly to reinforce that stance. There we go, Gangdem. It's a brief. Speculation over his future was reignited this week after Enzo gave an eye-catching response in an interview with ESPN Argentina following Chelsea's Champions League defeat to PSG. It was a humbling, it was embarrassing, it was a sickener, gang. I don't want to keep thinking about it. When asked directly about whether he would remain at Stamford Bridge next season, he replied, I don't know, there are 8 games left, FA Cup, then I go to the World Cup, then we will see. Yeah, I don't like how that looks for a guy wearing the captain's armband. You know, JT would never say that, Azpilicueta would never say that, Reece James would never say that. Thiago Silva, who we've learned to love as a legend, would never say something like that. I don't like it. I don't care that the incompetence at the top of the club is you know, made everyone furious. We're still Chelsea. You know, as soon as... yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on from that. We'll just talk about him in this story. These comments have inevitably triggered fresh noise around his situation, but we understand Chelsea were already fully aware that multiple top clubs were circling. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all, by the way, that clubs want Enzo Fernandez. Real Madrid seriously considered signing Enzo prior to his move from Benfica, and have remained attentive ever since. PSG and Bayern Munich are also long-standing admirers, while Manchester City would be prepared to join the race if the player showed any willingness to join another Premier League club. Though such a scenario is not currently in play. I do believe loads of clubs would want to sign Enzo Fernandez. I believe it. Chelsea plan to tie Fernandez down to new jaw-dropping, easy for me to say, deal. Let's listen to the BS. Just a transition for the sincerity of this next part. Sources have told Team Talk... Chelsea briefing. I'm just going to guess that. While Enzo is open to the idea of Real Madrid, and I think that is the one club he'd probably go to if I was to speculate, and would naturally be attracted to moves such as Paris and Munich. I've already heard he wouldn't be interested in PSG. Maybe since they slapped us up 8-2 on AG, he's probably thought, actually, this team is quite good, and I'll go over there. He's not agitating for a transfer, and has made no formal push to leave. We'll learn more about that in a minute with Liam Rosenior's comments. Chelsea, for their part, are determined to shut down the possibility altogether. We can reveal, can you? The club are now preparing to make a forceful counter by offering him a huge new contract, one that would place him among the highest paid footballers in Europe. Only Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe are currently understood to earn in excess of £500,000 a week, which, by the way, is mental. No footballer should earn over £500,000 a week. I'll say that now. And although Chelsea would not reach that level, sources have indicated they are willing to go beyond £400,000 per week, including bonuses. absolute nonsense. And not a snowball's chance in hell, or about the same amount of snowball's chance in hell, that Chelsea Football Club, in its current iteration, would consider paying Enzo Fernandez 400 smackaroos a week. There is more chance of me getting a phone call from Emily Ratajkowski, sliding him into my DMs right now, as well as Sabrina Carpenter following me on Instagram, as well as me finding, I don't know, £1 million outside my house. No chance. If there was such a... Okay. Breathe. If Chelsea were going to give 400k to Enzo Fernandez, he deserves a pay rise, good money, whatever. Not 400k. But whatever, fine. But if we were even considering to give that much money and break the low wage structure, you call up Victor Osimhen right now, apologise for those insulting negotiations that went deep into the night when he wanted to join Chelsea because Didier Drogba was his footballing idol. He wanted to join Chelsea. We offered him a £5 a week. He didn't fancy it. If you're going to pay this much, yeah? Sell Delap to Everton. Joao Pedro's an amazing rotational option. Go get Osimhen. Give him the money he deserves. Swallow your pride if this is true, but it almost certainly isn't. I mean, it definitely isn't, is it? Such a deal would surpass the recent 6-year contract given to captain Reece James. Yeah, why would you pay Enzo Fernandez less than Reece James? Stop it, you sausages. We'd bring Enzo into the same financial territory. I mean, Reece also has injury problems. But, you know, into the territory as very big global stars. A clear statement of intent that the club see him as a central figure in their long-term rebuild. It would also be the highest salary in the Blues' history. I mean, apparently we did offer Eden Hazard 400k a week in like 2019 or whenever it was. The final attempt to say finish your career at Chelsea and not Real Madrid, but he always dreamed of Real Madrid. It would also appear the highest, surpassing the 325k a week Sterling got, which is obviously from these owners as well. But he was on such a high salary, we bomb squatted Sterling because he was priced out of a move as well. This would be the same mistake. Privately, Chelsea acknowledged they have not yet matched Enzo's ambitions on the pitch. You think? 200 different managers and underwhelming results all over the gaff. But they remain completely confident that this is stanky briefing stuff here. That with 2 or 3 key additions, maybe 5 or 6 gang dem, and possibly a new coach, although I'd likely him to succeed, but let's be real here. They will be in position to compete for major honours. Again, they want Enzo to be at the heart of that next phase and are prepared to act accordingly to secure his commitment. He'll be reading this, yeah. Enzo Fernandez going, oh, lovely, thank you very much. I'm going to get £400,000 a week. And someone will be on the phone going, psst, we're not actually going to give you that. We're just trying to make the fans like us again. You know, mate. Despite Enzo's existing deal and running for another 6 years, Chelsea believe the timing is right to anchor him with renewed terms and enhanced financial security. His continued leadership, professionalism and influence on the pitch have been repeatedly highlighted inside Cobham. Okay, that's great, I suppose. And the club have been planning for a new deal for several weeks. Yeah, I mean, he and Caicedo have both got new representation and they both want new contracts. Right, now it's talking about us being interested in Julian Alvarez. I can only eat so much BS on my plate for one time, so let's move on. Nonsense! Funny nonsense. We will see. I mean, shut up. Right, there is some really interesting stuff on the pre-match press conference from Liam Rosenior. We are going to get into that now, courtesy of Bobby Vincent's, like, bloggy thing, wherever it is. Sam Truelove! Who in the porn star is that? That was called Sam Truelove. Well, this is coming from Jan Pure Hate right now. All right, so so dumb. Anyway, let's move on. So Rosenior said, following on the Fernandez quotes, he said this: Liam Rosenior is he was expected to be asked about this. Okay, and he was asked. So that was at the beginning. We haven't got into it yet. Right, Chalobah latest. It wasn't as bad as we thought. Of course, it could have been really bad. We're looking at maybe 6 weeks. It's not a break. He was stretched off in the PSG game. We all knew he was probably going to be out for a few weeks. It's about 6 weeks. Colwill's back training. He's smiling. He's looking good in training. But with an ACL, says Rosenior, he's hitting all the benchmarks he needs to. But we need to make sure he's getting past a certain levels. Basically saying, like, he's going to be back. Hopefully still by the end of the season. But not anytime soon for Levi Colwill. All right, Philip, Jorgensen and James injuries. Philip had a scan and he needed an operation, which is interesting. It's a matter of weeks. It was a minor operation. We're going to look a little bit more at Reece after the international break. It's not serious, but there's something in his hamstring and we're going to look at it after the break. You've got to be careful with Reece just because of his hammy history. Where's Sam Truelove gone? It's back to Bobby Vincent now. I guess it wasn't true love. Yeah, so Jorgensen, I don't really care. Good luck to him. He's not going to be at Chelsea next season, as far as I'm concerned. I wish him all the best. I wish nothing but the best for Jorgensen. And he can go and play for Strasbourg. James, though, yes, hopefully we get him back. And, you know, Liam Toomey said this. They were handling Reece James really friggin' well, and he'd played like a career-long best minutes in games, and we were all like, he's back! They fixed him! But then they gave him like 390 minutes in a week or something crazy. The exact thing that they weren't supposed... I don't know if it was exactly that, but basically they overcooked him out of nowhere and was just like, play him! And now he's got a hamstring injury. What happened to being really sensible with Reece James? And it worked, and you fixed it, and suddenly you just friggin' overplayed him and red-zoned him immediately. It's your fault, you knobbers. Right. Bad form. Yep. Accurate. When you lose games, there's always damage attached to it. I'm learning about the team, the players, and the staff. I've learned a lot this week. I think we all have, mate. More on bad form. Every manager goes through difficult weeks. I've had challenging periods before. I've lost lots of games in many jobs. Okay, it's going well so far. I watched this. I don't know why I'm laughing, because if I don't laugh, I'll cry. I watched his presser. I did think it was quite impressive as usual. Hopefully we're getting to the impressive bits. But at the moment, I understand it's not looking good. I've lost loads of games and many jobs. Great! Chelsea vibes. Like all managers have done, we need to find a way to fight back at Everton and come through a difficult period. Bro, if we have any form of embarrassing loss at Everton, you know... You might be on the Jorgensen train. Fernandez quotes. This is what we came for. I had a great conversation, he said this morning, with Enzo at length. Oh, there you go. This morning. Not just about his comments. He made it really clear how happy he is here at the club. How much he wants to win. How much he's fully committed to the group and, yeah, winning with here at this football club. Right, now this is like a condensed version of that. I do suggest you go and watch it. I'm going to go through more quotes, but I do suggest you watch this presser to hear this. He's basically spoken about Enzo, how this guy just wants to win. He's not here for the ride at Chelsea. He is a serial winner. He wants to be like... And hopefully with Chelsea, like these Real Madrid teams, like there's a PSG team that slapped us and wins the Champions League, and he wants to win league titles. And like Man City, he's seen in recent years, he's like, that I need to be in that team. I want to be in that team. I want it to be Chelsea. I'm trying to drag you with me, but if you can't do it, that's the kind of vibes I'm getting. Do you know what I mean? So I do think he wants to stay-ish, and maybe that was the heat of the moment, those comments, but... It is a little bit like, if you man can't do it, I'm out, bruv, which is fair, to be fair. Qualifying for the Champions League, it makes your recruitment, your planning, it makes everything clear. This club deserves to be in the Champions League. It's as simple as that. That's our target. It's making sure we want to win the next game and stay on track. Pretty, you know, lame stuff, generic stuff, though. I think most teams go through this moment in the season. I disagree. But no, yeah, most do, but not Chelsea. I'd say, or very rarely Chelsea, and it's been way too much Chelsea recently. What I've seen, not just today, yesterday after the game, during the game when we were down to 10 men in the last minutes, was not a lack of effort. We had 8 huge games plus a competition. We want to win. We have 8 games left, and we want to win the FA Cup, basically. so we can end things in a positive way. Look, mate, if Chelsea win the FA Cup and finish top 5, great. I'm on my knees for an FA Cup. We haven't won it in nearly 10 years. I really love the FA Cup. Chelsea have got a great history in it. If you qualify for the Champions League while playing in the Champions League, that's a step up from last year because you're only in the Conference League. So you're playing at a much higher difficult level, and you still qualify for the top 5. And if you win the FA Cup is better than the Conference League every day of the week, right? And of course the Club World Cup was a sort of like weird situation because it's once every 4 years, and you know, it was a nice moment for us. But if like the normal season before the Club World Cup start, this season would be better than last season. But it's the nuance, isn't it? It's not just like history will look kindly. Well, they did top 5 again while being in the Champions League, and look, you got an FA Cup, great season, and history will look at that, great. And if we do that, great. I'll talk differently. I'll chat nice. But like at the moment, bro. Like the nuance, the context, what we're seeing is largely trash. And that's why the Chelsea fans all across planet Earth have been miserable, including myself. Go back a couple of videos. I was like a grown man about to cry here in front of my camera. This is what Chelsea have done to me. I can't sleep at nights, bro, after these horrible performances. Sorry they got real there, but you know. So this is friggin' exciting. Well, not exciting. It's not exciting. But it's interesting and it's compelling. Team news being leaked. They fixed the problem. They fixed the problem. We know it's not come from any place of malicious intent. To me or the team, we've dealt with the situation. They fixed the leak. Something that the janitor can't do at Old Trafford. To be honest, Old Trafford had all kinds of leaks. It's not just the waterfall. There were team leaks there as well. But they fixed the leak. So, I mean, it's pretty concise and clinical with that. Yes, we find out who it is. The rat. They fixed it. So that's pretty big. I mean, I guess, right? Let's read on. People mocking him for passing the note to Garnacho. I mean, this is silly. He doesn't help himself, but a lot of this is silly nonsense. It doesn't affect me. I'm not surprised. The reality is I need to help this club win football matches. If I breathe or sneeze wrong, people will talk about it. It is true. Like, I was hearing like people talking about the huddle. Huddlegate. If it was Newcastle doing it before the Chelsea game, it literally wouldn't even be a story. It's because it's Chelsea, high profile, LinkedIn Liam, David Brent. It's everything's highlighted at the moment. He has a little bit of sympathy from me at the moment. If we were winning, genuinely no one would give him so-and-so. It's just the way it is, man. Getting his ideas across, he spoke about how he'd love to have a pre-season, and he says he is defending himself here. I think if you look at the game, the reality of the situation, I'd love to have a pre-season with the group to get his ideas across, but that doesn't mean we cannot be successful. When we haven't been successful, it's because of moments, guys. These things happen in football. Me handing in a note doesn't just tell the story. He did speak about in the first leg against PSG, 2-2 in the ascendancy, a moment. The Sarr mistake, a moment. The air was sucked out of Stamford Bridge. Suddenly, the European champions are 4-0 up in the tie. Before that, there was a good feeling. But it was a moment from Mamadou Sarr with like a bit of an error or whatever. Do you know what I mean? He said, these are all moments that are costing us, and it's not the tactics. We do need time to get the tactics into the players. And while that is, remains to be true, you are not totally innocent, I'll argue, in this, Liam. And it's so difficult to criticise him because of what he's been thrown into. That video I did a couple of days ago, I sort of gave the players a pass and the manager a pass because of like the dysfunctions been created by the ownership and the sporting directors. It's not like, do you remember 2015 when the Premier League champions were, Stamford Bridge, Hazard, Fabregas, Diego Costa, snakes to Mourinho. Do you know what I mean? That was on the players. And then, what was Mourinho's line? Like, my work has been betrayed. Like, Mourinho was incendiary. That's the word, isn't it? But that wasn't, it was easy to go, you're not going to blame Abramovich, you're not going to blame Eminalo, the sporting director, you're not going to blame Jose Mourinho, you're going to blame the players, because you're a disgrace. You've played disgracefully. I can't say that about this, because we don't have a team full of Fabregases and Diego Costas and John Terrys and Eden Hazards, and do you know what I mean? We don't have that, so there's just kids being thrown together, so it's hard to blame them. And then kind of similarly, Rosenior is sort of like the manager version of that, so it's kind of hard to, really dig into it. And he speaks about Sarr's mistake. So yeah, there we have it. Look, I do urge you to go check it out. We are going to preview the Everton game now, because why the ruddy heck not? It's a football match. This is what we do here as content creators. Everton's last game wasn't at home, was away at Arsenal, and they actually sold us dreams, because it looked like a really good away performance until freaking the 89th minute. Basically, Jordan Pickford, an error from Pickford, who had a great game until then, lets Gyökeres have an open tap-in. Gyökeres only scores bad goals, generally. And of course, he comes up, they send the keeper up, and there's that really nice moment for Max Dowman in the 97th minute, which is nice for the Arsenal fans, and, the lad, he's an amazing young player, but that only comes because of what's happened, because of that. It should have been a 0-0, really. Like, really, that game was a 0-0 apart from that Pickford mistake, which shows they've got some, stones on them at the moment. Everton, and they need to be taken seriously. Of course, 4-2-3-1 from Moyes' boys. Pickford in goal, Keane. Of course, Dewsbury Hall is an he's a player, isn't he? He's a player. Tyreek George Tyreek George is on loan, so he can't play. But Dewsbury Hall, he's a baller for them, scoring loads of goals, looking really good. You've got Tyler Dibbling, and on the bench as well, another really good talent. Yeah, it's the Dewsbury Hall fear show. I genuinely don't think he'd celebrate if he scored against Chelsea, because he had a nice goodbye, and, Chelsea fans do seem quite affectionate towards Dewsbury Hall in his weird single season where he won 2 trophies and did play a lot of appearances, just not many minutes, and wasn't a starter. I do think and it was a great move to Everton, because they love him there, and he's balling out, so it's like a nice story almost. But, yeah, I think if he scored, I don't think he'd celebrate, or it'd be relatively muted. But let's hope to ruddy heavens that doesn't happen. So let's build a lineup for Chelsea then. Of course, it will be Sanchez in goal, because he's the only guy we've got at the moment. Malo was ill, but I think he's fit, because he wasn't mentioned here. Okay, so we got no Trevoh Chalobah. Mamadou Sarr did make a mistake, and we got hooked at half time, so he's fresh. So I'm going to put Wesley Fofana, who, by the way, has been playing poorly at the moment, but I'm going to pick him over the likes of Tosin and Josh Achampong. I wouldn't mind if Josh Achampong starts here, and I'd much prefer to see Josh play a centre-back than right-back, but I think Wes is fresh. Yeah, Everton's going to beat up us a little bit as well, so I think Fofana will be. He might actually pick Tosin just for physicality, but I think Josh, bit young. I'm going to go for Wes. I'm going to go for Sarr straight back in, but I'm going to put him in the left centre-back role where he's played loads for Strasbourg. Guys, Rosenior might think Everton are big, strong boys. I'm going to play Badia, Sheil and Tosin, who presumably are both fit. And they're both big, strong boys. So do not be surprised that if those guys start. But this is my lineup, and I'm picking those guys. I'm actually going to go with Hato at left back over Cucurella. I think Cucurella hasn't been great since he's come back from his injury. And lots of people think that Delap might start in this game. I think that's mental. So João Pedro's definitely staying in. Okay. Estevao, I think, will come off the bench. I don't think he's going to start. The more we learn about that, I think he's going to come off the bench. So I think we're going to see Caicedo. I know Santos did play okay against Strasbourg, but I really want to see Lavia start. So I just feel like Lavia can really help. And because Palmer loves playing with Lavia, and Palmer will have to be farmed down the right wing here, I think Palmer does that. And I think Enzo Fernandez, after his comments is going to start and he's going to like kiss the badge or whatever, you know, and be like, and do the point down again to Chelsea, the Chelsea fans, away fans, hopefully, you know, like he did before. And Neto, I'm sorry, gang. Or maybe Garnacho. You know what? Sod it. Garnacho, Neto, you can hold the bench. You've been doing my head in lately. What do you think? I think Gittins is training again. I don't know if he's going to start a Premier League game out of nowhere, but I think a naturally left-sided player like Garnacho, although Garnacho's really good at running into space, and I just don't think there'll be much space at Everton at the Hill Dickinson. So probably a Neto would be better, but I'm still going to just give Garnacho a game here. And that's what I think. What do you think? Chelsea away win 3-1. God, please let us win. I've suffered so much, and I deserve some good feelings. I deserve some good feelings. Please let Chelsea have a big win. And Palmer to be smiling again. Steval to come off the bench and score. And hopefully just some Chelsea fans are allowed to feel good again. Yeah? Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Please do leave them down in the comment section below. Remember, you can get this in podcast format simply by searching Football Therapy Podcast on all podcast platforms. And if it's on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I'd be grateful for 5-star rating. That's helpful. All right, mate. See you in a bit. Peace.